Hi everybody. Today I wanted to talk about housing co-ops, which is a recent project of mine. Now, when people think of the term housing co-ops, not everyone knows what you're talking about. Often they have certain ideas of what it might be. There are a lot of different types of people in the world, so of the people who might have heard of the term housing co-op, there's only a fraction of them. Often their dominant idea of a housing co-op is the stereotypical one of a bunch of people living together and sharing some space, which the shared space aspect of it is true, where the shared spaces might be living room, kitchen, dining areas, certain bathrooms, and then there are individual units where people can sleep, they have their personal belongings, things like that. It's not everyone's cup of tea. The shared space is really the only common thread. How you want to live in that co-op is really up to the group. That's where the group's vision and values come in. This is the dominant view of co-ops, but there are other types of co-ops out there. Another type are high-rises. These are pretty much like apartment units or condo units, and the only difference is that the residents have gotten together to form a corporation. The corporation owns property or the building, and the residents own a share in that corporation. So through that ownership, they have a right to occupy one of the units. These might be the dominant view of co-ops in some parts of the country, like New York City. Co-ops are known to be pretty expensive there in comparison to the communal type of co-ops. These are only two types. There are more types. I'm not going to go into all of them, but one that I really wanted to highlight was just a typical multi-family building. Maybe it has 2 or 3 floors, and it might only have 2, 3, perhaps 4 units, but those units are, again, like apartments or condos, where it has its own kitchen and bath. Maybe a couple of friends decided to get together because they like to live together and formed a corporation, just like the other ones. And by owning a share of that corporation, each friend gets the right to occupy a unit. I think this is much more in line with how people want to live, at least today. The other types might not be everyone's cup of tea. In that sense, I think it's a shame that more people don't think about that when they hear the word co-op. So that's an overview of just the perceptions that are out there of what a co-op is. But that is not the reality. In comparison to how things are in the real world, I think the amount to which these 3 co-op types exist are actually pretty much the same. So in reality, there might be this many condo / apartment-like co-ops. There might be this many communal or shared type units, and there might be this many high-rise co-ops. So really, in reality, the amount to which these co-ops exist in the real world are fairly equal in comparison to what our actual perceptions are, that the very stereotypical one is the one that dominates. My project, really, I'm hoping to tap into all of the potential interest that's out there for housing co-ops. That is in stark contrast to how many active co-ops there are out there. And when you think about it, too, many existing co-ops might say that they are cooperatives but don't actually follow the co-op principles very strictly. So only a fraction of the existing ones actually are genuine. Co-op principles are, you can look them up, but I think people can really relate to them in this day and age of isolation and distraction. In housing, you can have community, a support network, even intergenerational housing. I think that a lot of people are very interested in that these days. So I would love to get more of the mainstream just aware of housing co-ops in general. And I think that a way to do that pretty effectively is to start at least with this kind of housing type. Nothing wrong with these other two, but I think that's a great first step to get people at least interested in exploring co-ops. Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot.